Stay off the tracks.
Stay off those tracks.
Stay off the tracks if you don't want to get hit. Zach. Hey, Zach. Neanderthal. We're talking to you. Are we going to see fireworks with Chucky and Zach Cassian again this season?
You know what? On the Chucky front, just unrelated for a minute, his skating does look a little bit better. Maybe I'm just imagining things.
Well, he was told to work on it. I would hope that he did.
But he looked like he was, he did some power skating. He looked pretty quick the other night against Vancouver.
He took a couple power skating lessons, you think?
He looked pretty good.
All right, if you're on, let us know because we're using StreamYard and it can't show us who's actually on. But leave a comment. Let us know you're there. This is going to be 3 hot, 3 not, although we got 4. We got a couple honorable mentions.
Or dishonorable.
But, dishonorable and honorable. But thoughts real quick on the training camp so far as a whole. Don't get any specifics, just as a whole.
Well, it was kind of bumming me out, to be honest, the first few games. And it's like typical me, Flames. And you know what? Like for a lot of people, because like we were talking about this last week, it's like the first game back in the Dome. Everyone's stoked. Everyone's excited. The energy's there, and they come out and they like get outshot like 50-10, 50-15 by the Oilers. It was just a huge, giant letdown. Even if it was preseason, it was like you expect these guys to be jacked up, be ready to roll. They had a pretty veteran led-in lineup, and they sucked. And it was just like, okay, it's going to be another year of this, Another year of no energy, just boring games. And so, but after the other night where they looked pretty good, I've kind of
totally
even keeled a bit.
Ourselves.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into it. Let me get my little things ready, my banners. Okay, watch the bottom. Here it comes. What do you want to do first, hot or not?
Let's do hot because
you always like to leave on a low note.
Yeah, exactly. That's correct.
Okay, so here we go. Honorable mention. Say that 3 times fast.
Honorable mention, honorable mention, honorable mention.
Not bad. Okay, so let's go into some of these individual players that have had a good camp. I think the standouts so far have been Vladar, Shillington, and Dewar. We threw Mackey and Wolf in there as well, just for good measure. But what have you liked out of these guys?
Well, I think Dewar's kind of been this surprise standout. He looks like he could be an NHL player. I mean, for a lot of us, we'd probably prefer to see him in the opening night roster over, Brett Ritchie and Brad Richardson, but we'll see. He's been good. He hasn't been like incredibly good, but he's looked like he is an NHL player. He's NHL speed anyways. He seems to think the game at a high enough level. He's looked good. For a guy who like nobody was really talking about heading to camp, he's been a nice surprise.
And people were asking, hey, where'd he come from? He was not drafted. He was one of those college signings early this spring, right?
Yeah, he's out of the NCAA. And I mean, that's like found money if you can turn a guy like that into an NHL player. I mean, that's why you sign guys like that instead of signing Brett Ritchie, I would say. But we'll get to Brett. We'll get to Brett later.
The big name that we all know, Oliver Shillington, going into camp. There's a lot of Flames fans that agree that he should be on the team. He's had a great camp. He's looked good, making even a more solid case for that argument that he should be on the team. What have you liked from Shillington?
Well, again, it's 3 preseason games he's played, or has he played all 4? But he is doing he's executing his skill set pretty much very well. A lot of us have been banging to the drum just to see this guy play more often. And he played a shit ton of minutes the other night. Like, what did he play? Like 25 minutes in that overtime game against Seattle. He looked really good. He was fast. He's creating offense, breaking out of his zone. So, I mean, he's just doing those things that a lot of us who have watched him for a while know he's capable of and think that if given the opportunity, he could be a pretty decent bottom pairing guy. So the fact that he's come in and solidified a spot, I know Daryl's been a bit reticent, and I think rightly so too. Like, after the game and the press conferences, all the media guys were trying to be like, oh, how great was Shillington? Oh, he was great, wasn't he? He was great. And Daryl's like, yeah, I guess he played, so he's playing. So you got to do a lot to impress Daryl Sutter, and rightly so. But I mean, Shillington's been great. He's been very good, which I think a lot of us expected. And he needed to be. This camp, he needed to be really good.
Yep. If you're watching, try leaving a comment. I don't see any comments coming through. It might not be working. The StreamYard used to feed through Periscope. Now Periscope doesn't exist anymore, so it's just done through Twitter. I don't know if it's a glitch, but I'm not seeing any comments. So
Me
if
either.
you are saying stuff and we're not seeing them, it's not our fault.
StreamYard's
yeah.
Twitter's fault.
Look, it's saying can't access Twitter comments. So just send me a DM on Twitter if you want me to ask. If you want to ask a question, and we'll get to it. Okay, I even put out a poll: does Shillington belong on the starting roster to begin this season? And 306 votes. What would you say the percentage of people saying yes to no is?
It's got to be 100. If it's not, I want to know the individual names. I want
94,
names.
94%.
94? Who are
That's
the
huge.
6%?
Well,
yeah, but
you're
who are
always
the
gonna
6%?
have the
Unless it's an
outliers.
accident.
You're always going to have the outliers.
Who is better than Shillington? It's just Erica Branson. It's just Erica Branson's burner account. Just like, no, he doesn't deserve to be on the team. Let me on.
Yeah. Okay, this is stupid that you guys can't comment.
I'm watching our video right now and I can't comment.
That is stupid.
Totally
really
stupid.
It says that's a StreamYard thing. It's not our fault, but we'll send him a message after and see how stupid it is. Okay. Other players, Vladar, he's probably. I mean, look, he's your backup. I would hope that he could stop NHL pucks, but he's having a good camp. He looks pretty solid, so I think things are looking pretty good there.
Yeah, I've been good with Vladar. Daryl's had some good insights on him, just talking about how he's reading the rushes and stuff. And yeah, I've had no issues with him. Like, I don't know, maybe a little shaky to start camp, but he's settled in nicely.
Yeah, shut the door. That's good.
Yeah.
When Wolf came in the other night for the third period, after Markstrom, whoa. You don't realize how small this guy really is until you see him with NHL players following up a guy. How tall is Markstrom? He's huge,
like
right?
6'6", which is like a 7-inch difference there, a foot difference.
He totally reminded me of Mike Vernon, just modern day style.
He was good though. He made a couple really good saves in that third period, especially on the 5-on-3.
Lindsay's saying Oliver needs to be in the starting roster on the opening night.
There's no excuse. The competition's not that stiff.
Eric for Dickinson saying Valimaki better than Shillington. Probably
in camp. I don't know. Valimaki's just doing what he does, but yeah, I would say 100%.
Yeah, maybe in this short sample size, Shillington's maybe argument. You could say he's been better, but if you want to increase the sample size, Valimaki will probably win that out every time.
Yeah, I don't want to blow it out of proportion and be like, oh, Shillington's going to win the Norris Trophy, but I think it's utterly clear that he is one of the 6 best defensemen on this roster right now. So,
okay, all right. Last guy you want to give some love is Mackey. Fire away. He's had some big hits. He's been scoring what? Almost
yeah.
I mean, his goals are kind of shitty goals, but he's still scoring goals.
I really like Connor Mackey. He's been physical. Again, like some of these other guys, he looks like he belongs to the NHL, and it's really encouraging. We're going to talk about Zadorov in a minute, but I mean, I like when defensemen play a bit more physical. I like when they're laying guys out. I like when they're finishing their checks, and he's been doing that. So I've liked Connor Mackey's camp.
Yeah, Lindsay's already fallen in love. Lindsay is a goalie lover, and Vladar, watch out. She's got you pegged. Okay, let's get to the next hot number 2. Coming in number 2. No, sorry, this is coming in 3 because that was an honorable mention. The third period against the Canucks. I mean, the game as a whole was great, but man, they started to ratchet it up quite a bit in the third period, and it was utter domination. I know it was a shittier team they were playing against, but you saw, because I'm like, kid, this is Sutter hockey at its finest. When it's actually effective, the forecheck was like relentless, shades of 04. That third period had me getting excited again.
Yeah, like I said, beginning of the preseason, I'm all depressed. I'm like, this is going to be another crappy year. I'm not like going to let them suck me in. I hate them. I hate them. I hate myself. I hate them. I'm not going to do it. And then that third period, well, the first period where the Gaudreau line was really good got me sucked back in. But yeah, that third period was great. They had the puck the whole time. They were breaking out with speed, like tons of transition plays. They were in on the forecheck. It was great. It was great.
And then, look, I've said this before. The only thing sweeter than a win is when you physically beat up on the other team while beating them on the scoreboard. and they started to do that in the third period big time, was that Mackey absolutely annihilates. Who was that? It was an actual NHL player. It wasn't some, rookie. It was an actual NHL player. Just annihilates him in the corner. And then McEwen, right? I think it was McEwen.
Zach McEwen, yeah, sounds right.
And then he starts to go after him, and Branson's like, no, that's not going to happen. So you get to see your first shade of Eric Branson. He's in our not category for his hockey skills, but that was a feel-good win because then Gabranson comes in and beats the shit out of him. And, dude, Gabranson is big.
If you win and you're doing that stuff, like, that's all good with me, right? Like, if you're going to – it's like even when you lose, actually. Like, when Lucic is not fighting when they're, like, losing, I'm like, what are you even doing here? Like, do something, So, as much as I don't like Eric Gudbranson, I mean, I'm not going to lie and say I'm not cheering for him when he's beating the shit out of a Canucks player, so.
That was excellent. So if they can manage his ice time, 7th D-man in and out of the lineup, depending on the opponent. I mean, sure, yeah, you want him in there for the Battle of Alberta, but do you? You want him in there for the toughness?
No.
Do you want a potential matchup of Gabranson with McDavid or Draisaitl? We'll get to his hockey skills on the not hot side, but he's good for something. Obviously not worth the money we're paying him, but we're going to see. It's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. But, like, can you imagine how many Battle of Albertas do we get this season? Probably not as many as last year, right?
I think it's 8 or is it 6? I think it's 6. I haven't checked. I think it's 6. It's not 10.
So still a decent amount. Man, we got tougher, and I know they like to battle. They're going to be interesting games. We're going to get a good taste of it in game 1. I finally feel confident we're going to be ready to start the fucking season for once. Are you excited?
I mean, I'd hope so. I hope so. Like, what is the stat? Like, the Flames have the worst, across all sports. Somebody did this. I think Mike Gold or something pulled this up from 20 for like the last 10, 15 years. Like, they have the worst winning percentage in opening games in like all sports. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, they're probably gonna set a fucking historic record here pretty soon. Okay, number 2, we alluded to it. Having defenseman / Nikita Zadorov that actually hit people. There's actually open ice checks. There's actually like hammering guys into the boards. Sign me up. This is a big thing we've been lacking. And look, I'm not saying it's all about, being physical and gritty and shit, but it's an effective way to break the cycle. Right, if you got McDavid and Draisaitl cycling you down low, it's just a matter of time before you get exposed, and there's a scoring chance going to happen. One of the best ways to break that up, just clobber somebody, run somebody out, run them out hard, run them up high into the glass, fucking eliminate them. Zadorov is doing that. This guy is sneakily growing on me way sooner. I didn't even expect to like this guy. Okay?
Sneakily, it's like begrudgingly. I'm like, I don't want to like you, but I kind of like you.
I'm not supposed to like you. First off, he comes and roasts Francis in day 1. Hasn't even hit the ice yet. And then he's out there just clobbering guys. Like that Backlund goal, which is a terrible goal. But the open ice hit from Zadorov is like you saying. It's like the Valimaki goal or a hit on whoever that was when Colorado comeback happened.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, when it's effective, I love physicality, right? It's different than like Dion Phaneuf in the old days where he go out of his way to cream a guy. Yeah. If you can do it effectively and play good positional hockey, and I think it does lend itself. Like, again, Zadorov, he's got to figure out the penalties and shit, and he's sure slow. But I mean, the physical side of his game has left me begrudgingly liking this guy a lot, like even in that weird game they played in Kent where there's like no footage, some of the footage he's just like laying guys out in the corner.
It's funny you have that one period, right, the last period against Vancouver, and it had a little bit of that element of the Battle of Alberta, right, where they're fighting and you're just dominating. Man, I got bought in so hard from that.
Yeah, I see your problem too is like I kind of pretend I don't like the physical stuff. I'm like, oh, I don't want all these big guys. But then when it's like when the shit is happening and shit hits the fan in a game, and it's like I'm like, fuck yeah, good Branson, go get him. You know,
when they try and go and mess with Mackey and Branson comes in and just absolutely just fucking beats the
I
shit out of him.
know.
We're just like I'm sitting there, I'm like, holy shit, we're gonna be tough to play against. Because
Yeah.
not only we have Gabranson, we got Lucic, we got Rich, we got all these guys gonna fuck you up. So it's gonna be
The cognitive dissonance is real when I'm watching Branson and guys like that actually be physical.
Well, hey, if it's working and it's effective, the key is
Yeah.
you have to win first and foremost, and that's like the icing on the cake, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Katie's saying, guys, sorry, we have no idea what's going on. StreamYard, they used to go through Periscope, but now it's Twitter. If you're just joining us, we don't know why there's no comments available. Just send me a DM tweet, or sorry, a DM on Twitter, and we'll get your comments. And Katie's saying, actually enjoyed being at work the other night. It was nice not to lose, and got me pumped for the regular season. Well, it's nice to actually fucking win at home, eh?
It doesn't take much to please us Flames fans. Eh? Just like a win at home.
Just to win with a couple fights on top, eh?
Nice. It's
we're bought back in. Like, look at us.
We're pretty easy to please.
Okay, so number one hot thing, and on our last podcast, we were talking about how we like the idea of going back to Johnny and Monty because you need to squeeze all the oranges out of Monahan, and this might be the way to do it. We haven't seen him in camp yet. I don't think they're like him and Hannafin are the two surgery guys. By all accounts that we know of, they're healthy, they're ready to go, but maybe they're holding them back. Or have you heard anything about that?
Must be. I have heard nothing, but that must be what's going on. I mean, again, the season doesn't open until for the Flames on the 16th, so it's still a ways to go, but must be.
Okay, but this line, how do you watch that game?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like instant chemistry once again. That first goal, tic-tac-toe, like Chucky gets the puck on the half boards. He already knows what he's doing, right? He's got his back to the play, and it's a one quick play, cross ice over to Lindholm. Lindholm already knows what's going to happen when he gets it. Tic-tac-toe to Johnny. Johnny finishes upstairs. Fuck. That's like goal of the year already.
I know. I saw that goal. I was just like, holy shit, wow. And Johnny was jumping before that too and looked really good. But
yeah.
Man, because like you said, we had been talking last week about it's actually good if you put Coleman with Lindholm and Kachuk, you can go toe to toe with the Oilers top line and drive play the other way against them. And then you put Monahan, you solve the Monahan problem by putting him back with Gaudreau, see how he does. But shit, dude, like how do you watch that and not like how is that not their best line? How is that not the best iteration of the top line? It is. Like you can't deny it.
I think it forces Daryl's hand to try some other line combos while you can in the preseason, just in case you need to go back to that line. Then you know what your second line is going to be.
And I mean, I don't know. I've kind of been thinking about this a bit this week. I think the best way, maybe if you had to split the difference, is just if you put Monahan with Gaudreau and Kachuk, because I still think the Gaudreau-Kachuk connection is what really drives that line. Because, like you said, who makes the play on that goal really to kickstart it? Like Kachuk knows where that puck's going before it gets to him, and then Johnny's wide open for Lindholm. So keeping Gaudreau and Kachuk together, the two, I think the two smartest and best players on the team together, seems to be a tactical advantage. So I don't know, maybe you could flip Monahan and Lindholm, because then you can go Lindholm, Mangiapane, and Coleman, and that's a great two-way line. So I don't know. There's still some tough stuff to figure out, but dude, like that line, wow.
You see it play out in Edmonton time and time again. As much as they always try and split up McDavid and Draisaitl, eventually they have to put them back together, because I mean it's probably what you're going to see. And maybe that's what Sutter does, is like if things are drying up, he knows to go back to the, what do you call it? Nuclear line?
Nuclear deterrence? Yeah, like they were great. And again, the Canucks had like an AHL roster, but I mean, still, Johnny was flying.
With regards to the Monty and Johnny, Katie says she's all for them being split up and keep Monahan benched if it means you can keep serving him waters. Sweet.
Well, thanks, Katie. Oh, is this Aquafina water? Oh, that's really.
Katie, does he do that voice in the suite? You get to talk to him. I'm curious. He's like, what would give us your Monahan impression in the suite?
Katie, I'd actually prefer some reverse osmosis water here. This Fiji water.
Is this filtered? Excuse me. Okay, Lindsay's saying if the first line is Johnny, Chucky, Lindholm. The second line, is it Mangiapane, Monahan, and Coleman. That's the debate. You go Monahan or Backlund. I think you got to start with Monahan. He's got more scoring ability when he's healthy. So
yeah, that's where you roll into a bit of an issue, right? Because it depends how you're using Mangiapane and Coleman. You probably want to leverage those guys against the other team's best players. But maybe they're going to use Backlund and Pitlick in that capacity. But we will see. I still think the best way to utilize if you're going to have Mangiapane and Coleman on the same line, not having Backlund between them just seems like a missed opportunity to have a just buzzsaw line. So we'll see.
Yeah. Katie says no, it was Dasani. It's Pepsi.
Oh,
right?
no, that's Coke, isn't it? I think that's Coke.
Dasani's
yeah.
Whatever it is.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
if you're listening, you just joined us. You have to send questions or comments into my Twitter DM because I don't know why comments aren't working. All right, should we get some not hot? You ready?
Yay, my favorite.
All right, honorable mention. Mark Giordano scores for the other team. First game back at the Dome. And it's not that we're upset that he scored. We're still sour. We lost our best defenseman and our captain.
I was quite upset. Like, that was the game where Zadorov sucked. Everyone in that D was so slow. And, like, Gio was flying. He looked so good. And I was just like, God damn it. We let this guy walk for nothing. Like, what a waste. It was really annoying.
That was the worst game from the D-Corps. And I think Hannafin and Botana had the night off, right? So you have 4 of your top 6 defensemen. They look like ass. You got Gio on the other team lighting us up. So they look better the last couple of games.
It was rough. It was rough.
All right. Not hot, number 2, Erica Branson's hockey skills. We talked about him already at length. But how bad is this guy look at hockey in terms of just fucking – he got better in the last couple of games. I don't know.
The thing is, though, I don't even get why Sutter, wanted him or I don't see what the because it's like he's not even particularly physical. I mean, outside of fighting, like I didn't see him like finishing any checks or doing much other than just like standing around getting walked by like AHL level players. So
it's hard to hit people when they're skating circles around you.
Good point. Maybe that's why he doesn't hit people because he is so slow he can't connect with them. So I don't know. I don't get it, but
you know why Sutter got him. You saw it. We saw a taste of it.
I guess
it's not worth $2 million.
Nope.
Right? If you're being logical about it, looking at your books, you don't want to be spending that money for that. But fuck, did it make the win feel that much better? Oh, it's funny how it works.
We must have the highest rate of like per capita dollar amount going towards fights, like between Lucic and Branson and Richie. It's like skyrocketing out of control.
Richie's in the scrapper. He didn't look that big.
No, he's not. He's not really much of a fighter.
He's a bit of a buzzsaw. I just wish he had better hockey skills.
I wish he was 6 years younger, and then I'd like him.
Lindsay was at the game where Gio was returning. She said it was sweet. Everybody was chanting Gio. Gio is amazing, emotional. They probably didn't do
They did a little video tribute. They did a thing where it was like, "Welcome back, but we'll officially welcome you back in December." So we'll
do it for real when you're playing a real game.
Yeah, which I liked because I don't like when they ignore shit like that. I liked that.
Oh yeah. Katie says it was also emotional when he shot in the shootout. That was a classy move, eh? Putting him in the shootout.
That was sweet.
Score?
And Gio broke his stick.
Oh yeah, classic Gio, eh?
Dude, he was trying so hard. Did you see that shit? He was like, I've never seen him skate that fast in his whole life. Holy cow. It's like no wonder he broke the stick. He was just trying to fire that thing.
Get ready for that, Kraken fans. It's like the first out of 150 sticks Gio's going to break this season. Yeah, Katie's saying the tribute wasn't that great, but it's because it was preseason. They want to save it for the real thing. Gabranson is shit in Katie's books. Hope he proves it wrong. I hope he proves everybody. I hope he proves Brad Shillington right for once in his life.
Cut him. Like Mackey and Shillington have been way better. Send him to the AHL. You still got to pay him, but I mean, there's no reason for him to be on this team.
With how Shillington has looked, I don't see how you can't give him the reins to start the season. How can Shillington not be on the starting roster at this point?
Like of these 4, who's the worst? Michael Stone, Oliver Shillington, Connor Mackey, Gabranson. It's like so astoundingly clear. It's like Gabranson. You could put in Stone, Mackey, and Shillington above him.
Your boy Stone, another goal last night.
Another clapper.
The clapper. So, what was it? I think James Johnson posted Shillington after, what was it, the first standout game? I can't remember what game it was.
I think it was the Seattle game, wasn't it? Because he played like 26 minutes. He was on all for like every shift in overtime. He was really good. His expected goals was like 90% or something. He was really good. He was really good.
He's looking good. All right.
And again, like that's what they need. They need guys who can skate.
Yes.
Like again, what have you noticed from the decor? They're slow as shit. It's unbelievable.
And the other thing with Shillington is look how fucking quick he breaks out. He moves the puck up the ice so fast.
Yeah.
And he's got explosive speed. He makes everybody else around him play faster.
And this is the thing. I don't know. I kind of feel like he's developed like the irrational TJ Brody syndrome that everybody had, like back when Brody was like really good, and for some reason everyone hated him. And it was like because he made like one mistake once. It's like everybody always says, "Oh, Shillington, he's got this proclivity for like big mistakes." It's like show me like one. And the other thing is too is like from what I've watched, anytime he makes a mistake, he's so fast. He's able to pretty much outskate his mistake if he's turning the puck over the blue line. He's able to get on his horse and get back. So I don't know. I don't buy the Oliver Shillington is so bad defensively narrative. It's like he's played like a full season over 5 years being a part of this organization, and everybody's ready to write him off. And like, he's probably a perfectly fine NHL defenseman if given the chance.
I mean, you got probably one of the slowest teams in the league. You need to dress a guy like Oliver Shillington. He's one of the fastest D-men in the league. Is he not?
Totally.
He's faster than him on defense.
He's fast, man.
So fast. That third period against the Canucks, what we talked about earlier, the pace of that game was unbelievable. They were pushing the pace. We got to keep that up consistently too.
Yeah, Shillington was what? Second. Sorry, last thing on Shillington, I swear. He was second in fitness, wasn't he? Behind Backlund or Dubé? Dubé was first. Shillington was second.
First. Was he second? Man, he looks fit, hey? He looks fit. All right, not hot number 2. Why isn't Matthew Tkachuk the captain yet? This is, look, what was it? Your team looks like absolute ass the first 2 preseason games. You finally get some good NHL players in your roster. Then your team still looks like ass. And then Matthew Tkachuk scores the first goal that turns your preseason around. If this guy's not doing it, then who is? If he's not the guy that's getting you back in games, who's doing it?
No one. And you know what? I wasn't even really annoyed with it going into the season. I was, but I was like, yeah, whatever. I was resigned. But then, like, in the middle of the game the other night, when that happened, I'm like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. Like, what are we? Are we running a peewee team here? We got to have like captain tryouts. Like, get your shit together and at least name somebody captain. Like, what is this?
It makes me wonder if the whole Chucky incident, Muzzin incident didn't happen last year, would he not be captain already?
Oh, I think 100%. Yeah. But yeah, enough with this dumb, like, peewee, everybody's going to be assistant captain, or we're going to see who are, like, give me a break. Like,
oh, yeah, you don't need one. You don't need a captain. I mean,
and I mean, the other thing, exactly, like, pony up and just do it. It's dumb. It's stupid. We're out there without a captain, and he's like, it's just dumb. It drives me crazy.
This guy has 90% chance he's going to be your next captain anyways, but you might lose him in the offseason because Brad Treliving can't manage his team.
Well, and that's the other thing, too, I keep hearing is like, oh, don't name him captain until you sign him long-term. How about name him captain, and then he might be more inclined to sign with your dumb, shitty organization.
Have you ever heard of a captain of a team? I mean, the Chargers did it, but that's a different scenario. Leave, in free agency. He's already
John Tavares. That's it.
Right, I guess it happened with John Tavares.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often.
I guess I made a bad example. It doesn't happen very often.
It's just that was a 1 in a million. But I mean, it's just make him the captain. Like, God, like, what are you doing? This is so stupid.
Look at how the last negotiations went. Look at how negotiations went for Brady Tkachuk. You can expect there's going to be some hardball played by Matthew Tkachuk. If he is your captain, he's going to want to stay.
Put your faith in the guy. Like, stop diddling around with this dumb nonsense.
Plus, who else is it going to be?
Yeah, exactly. Like, they're like, oh, Tanev. It's like, come on. Like, Are we gonna do this like Todd Simpson, Steve Smith,
Fuck
like
off.
Craig Conroy shit, or it's like, are we gonna do the
Steve
Jerome McGinn?
Smith.
Yeah, are we
Dave
gonna do the
Lowry,
Jerome McGinn? Yeah, Dave Lowry, totally.
Dave Lowry, come on. We've
Like, give
done
me
this.
a break. We've
done
done this
it.
shit before. Give it to the guy who's Jerome, like he's the Jerome McGinley of this era.
If you had a younger coach like Sheldon Keith, he probably would have done it by now.
Yeah, totally. But
Daryl's old school. And maybe, who knows? Maybe he knows what he's doing mentally. Chucky's going to push him harder. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, the other thing, too, is like Daryl doesn't give a shit, which is kind of cool. Nice, actually. He's pretty much like, who cares? But
we're just based on winning games. But this guy has been the leader already. Coming into preseason, listening to him on the podium, he's the leader of this team. Look at on the ice so far. He's been the leader of this team. Just making the fucking leader of the team.
Just do it.
And that brings us to number one, not hot. The love affair with Brett Ritchie continues. And I can't even say, because I could have said, look, maybe he belongs on the team in a lesser role. And that's where people are at on Twitter. A lot of people love this guy because he's hard-nosed, gritty. But they agree he shouldn't be playing in the top 6. Do you think Brett Ritchie should be in the bottom 6?
No. Like, what quality does he bring you that you don't have from like other guys who are better hockey players?
The people say he's tough. What has he done so far that stood out that's been physical? Has he laid anybody out? Has he roughed anybody up? I don't think he necessarily have to fight, but is he getting guys' grills? No, he's missing open nets, right? Surprised he didn't miss the second one. No,
dude, can you believe they had that guy playing on Johnny Gaudreau's wing for like 80% of the season last year? Dude from like 2 feet away misses a gaping net like by a mile.
It's unbelievable. So
yeah, I don't know. I don't get the Ritchie thing. He's like so expendable, and I'm not just meaning to pick on him. Like, if you didn't have Lucic and like 25 other guys, then okay, but I mean, you do have 25 other guys, so what's the point? I don't really get it. Like, you're telling me Walker Duehr wouldn't be better in the bottom 6, like a guy who's fast and can skate.
He already looks just as good as Ritchie. Maybe he's not going to fight as much, but look at, like, you got enough guys that can fight. He's got way more upside than Ritchie.
Yeah, I just don't know what Ritchie brings you. Like, he's not fast. He fights. But I mean, like I said, so does everybody else. He's not overly physical. He has like no redeeming qualities. I don't get it.
Well, hopefully he'll prove us wrong. Same with Gabranson. That's going to wrap up our 3 hot, 3 not. If you guys have any last minute comments, throw them on. I don't know why the comments don't work. Throw me a DM if you can. But other than that, we'll probably close things out. What's the schedule look like for this week? I haven't even looked.
What do we got? A game tomorrow?
Seattle again? No.
Why are we playing? Okay, you know what though? Like, I'm so sick of the Canucks already and the Oilers. To be honest, give me some. We're playing the Oilers tomorrow. Then we play the Jets. Oh God, the Jets. I don't think I can handle any more Jets games. We play the Jets on Wednesday and the Jets again on Friday.
Fuck, it's gonna suck, eh?
And
so they make a bunch of cuts. We're gonna see how many more? They got 3 more exhibition games.
4, maybe 3. Oilers, Jets, and then I think maybe 1 more. But yeah, everybody's a little worried about Matthew Phillips. I'm not too worried about Matthew Phillips being claimed.
Look, he's not gonna get claimed. He hasn't done anything in the NHL, and he's only fucking 4 feet tall. So.
Exactly. Like, you think any of these other GMs who, like, all these guys hate small guys. The whole league hates small guys. So I don't think anybody's gonna be claiming him. But I'm secretly, I'll be praying for Matthew to not get claimed tonight. Join me in a prayer circle later, everybody.
Okay, Katie, last comment, then we'll jump. Says next preseason home game is Friday, and then our home opener is not till the 18th. Weird start to the season. So they start in Edmonton on the 16th. Home opener
starts October 16th.
But the season starts on the 12th. They don't play to the 16th.
Yeah.
Got to hand it to the NHL schedule makers. They do it every year, hey? Just a bang-up job. All right, we'll close it on that. Any closing thoughts, Mikey?
No, I'm sucked back in. All it took was like 20 minutes of Johnny Gaudreau playing really good hockey to suck me back in.
It's funny, hey, because before that game I text you. I'm like, hey, dude, I'm actually getting excited again. Here I go. And you're like, I'm not. I fucking hate this team.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, yeah, just give it some time. 20 minutes later, 20 minutes into the game, Johnny Gaudreau sucks you back in.
Free
Right,
time.
everybody? Thanks for jumping on. We're going to try and do these weekly during the season because there's going to be way more to talk about. It's already starting to happen. We're starting to gear up. We'll catch you on the next one.